Ready to go live with the Virtual Advisor Power Hour. So if you're seeing this right now and you're streaming on YouTube, LinkedIn, or Facebook, welcome. And I'm going to go ahead and kick this off right now, right on to Zoom. So all of the other folks who are going to get started on Zoom can join us right now as well. All right. Welcome, everybody. We are officially live and streaming everywhere worldwide where Shift Nation is. Welcome, everybody. This is Jeremiah Desmarais, host and founder of the Virtual Advisor Power Hour and CEO of Advisorist. We are incredibly grateful to see all of you beautiful people here today. Happy June 30th. All right, guys, let me know that you're alive and well in the Q&A section right now. If you can see me, hear me, and all the AV is working great for you, go ahead and say hello, but also tell me, what is the emotion that you've had the most this week so far? Happy, sad, frustrated, relaxing, curious? What is it? We're going to talk a lot today about managing your inner dialogue. So I thought, wouldn't it be fun to start off and ask Shift Nation, what is the dominant emotion you've been experiencing this week? And hey, if you feel it's maybe an embarrassing emotion, don't worry, I won't say your name. But I think it'd be fun to see where you're at. So go ahead, Q&A right now. Type that in. Let's welcome our friends from around the world. All right, so Ralph is checking in. He says, I'm alive and well. That's good. Alan's been experiencing happiness and excitement. Very good for you, out of Ohio. We got another guy who's a little frustrated. Hey, I get you, man. I've been there myself. Hopefully today, we're going to help you how to step out of frustration and maybe into curiosity. All right, we got Pam who's checking in. She says, I'm happy this week. I'm not surprised, Pam, because you're probably one of our longest standing Power Hour participants, and you've graduated from multiple programs, and you are just always killing it on the front line. So good for you, Pam. John is like, hey, I'm happy as usual. Good to hear. Sue is enthusiastic. Nancy is feeling grateful. Ralph is saying wet happiness. I'm not going to dive into that one, but I'm glad that there's some happiness. Who do we got here? Let's see. Tony's like stressed and getting ready to travel. It's probably a good time when you're hitting that stress peak. It's a good time to head into travel, isn't it? We got a couple frustration folks, one from Winnipeg. That's okay, man. And I want to acknowledge you for knowing what the feeling is, so that you can take that next step. And you guys are going to love today. Whether you came frustrated today, whether you came happy, whether you came grateful, you guys are going to have a great time. Thank you so much, guys, for all your wonderful, great comments here. A lot of you starting vacations. That's cool. All right. So let's dive into it today. We got a lot to cover. It's going to be a very impactful and a moving session today. You know, normally on the Power Hours, we'd love to dive into practical hacks and tips and, really centered around sales and marketing. But in my 15 years, the wee little bit of time that I've been doing this on this earth, generating 60 million leads for insurance and financial advisors, what I've discovered is that the times when I truly felt my best was when I was managing my inner dialogue. And that was regardless of whether I was winning or I was coming out of a string of failures or so-called failures, which we'll talk about what that really means today as well. So I'm really grateful for you guys today. The fact that it's the summer, it's the middle of the summer. Some of you are sweating buckets right now. I'm sending cool vibes to you in the Northeast, in the West Coast, in the South, that are suffering from all these heat waves. And you guys are taking time out of your day to be with us. That means a lot to myself and all of Shift Nation. So thank you guys. We appreciate you. And today's going to be an amazing session. So let me share my screen right quick. Awesome. You guys see that okay? Terrific. Okay, so let's talk about today's highlights. What we're going to discuss. We're going to be jumping into how to be the boss. This is inspired of a story, kind of a sad story. I actually heard of one advisor just totally burnt out and frustrated this week. And I said, okay, wait a minute. There's no reason for that. We've got a solution for that. Let's talk a little bit about that. Really fun update for Force for Good. So if you know somebody in your life that's maybe going through a hard time this week, We did something for somebody who's going through a hard time, and we got such a beautiful letter back from them. I was moved. So I'm going to share with you what we sent, and it might inspire you to use this website that is like a perfectly tailored comfort to practically every human being who loves to eat. Okay. And then we're going to get into the wow factor. This is the fourth in the series with our resident organizational psychologist, Eve Duke. And we're going to dive into your inner dialogue. So lots and lots of stuff. This is also me trying to remember what I'm forgetting. If you've ever felt like this, where you've got so many things going on in your practice, right? You've got your clients, the renewals, you've got marketing, the integration of the software you've already bought, the application of training you've already taken, that can be pretty overwhelming. Well, what's a guy or a girl to do when you get into something like that? Well, we have had tremendous success, myself personally, but also the growth of Advisorist in the past 12 months has been like a runaway train. It has been like phenomenal. And that's all in part to you guys at Shift Nation. And one of the things that's made the biggest difference is having a VA, also known as a virtual assistant, a virtual assistant. We have a really great post by one of our VAs, one of our virtual assistants, Glendy, who is just such a joy. Whenever she comes on a Zoom meeting, she kind of brightens up. She's like a sunflower. She's always positive. She's always grateful. She's always sending these wonderful messages in Slack to everybody. You need a Glendy on your team, okay? And she posted a really cool concept inside the Facebook group. So Jazz is actually just going to put that into the chat right now. If you check out that post in the Facebook group, Glendy put together a video for you guys, just a quick 2-minute video to talk about how to use a virtual assistant in your insurance or financial services practice. And I got to tell you guys, when I started Advisorist many moons ago, it was called a different company at the time. But one of the first things I did was bring on a virtual assistant to help do the things that I, didn't want to do or I wasn't good at. And it stems from a belief that, I used to have the belief, and I don't know if you guys have that. Give me a 1 in the Q&A if you have this belief, because I've had it, is if it's going to be done right, I got to do it myself. How many of you had that belief? Give me a 1 if you've had that belief. If it's got to be done right, I got to do it myself. Anybody ever do that? Yeah, absolutely. Me too. I used to live like that, right? It's like, just give it to me and I'll do it. Well, the challenge, there's a grain of truth in that, but here's where it stops. If you're going to properly live like a boss and you're going to build that lifestyle, and our objective here is to help advisors get back 100 days a year, you can't do that if you're the one who's doing everything. But what I do support is doing the thing you do well and documenting it, and then giving it to somebody as an SOP or a standard operating procedure. And that's how you get real leverage in your life, is to do that. So I want to encourage you to check that out because I think it'll open your eyes. I actually want to show you a screenshot. Don't worry, this isn't me being mean. You probably see my face right there. This is Jeremiah being focused, okay? But this actually was taken today, early this morning, with our team. So we've got Marcel from South Africa, you got Lindsay from South Carolina, and then you got CJ, who's one of our VAs out of the Philippines. And it was really cool. We were talking about campaign statistics. So we were looking at our LinkedIn initiatives, how they're performing, all in the insurance and financial services industry. And we're actually testing 2 things right now. We're testing the use of humor and animated GIFs, like humorous GIFs, and also serious messages. So stay tuned for that, Shift Nation. We'll be creating a training on that and sharing you the results of what's working on LinkedIn. Does it pay to be funny? And if so, how to be funny. So stay tuned for that. We're always doing experiments. But CJ is amazing. He looks 15, but he's actually 25. He's the happy father of a beautiful little girl by the name of Athena. And he works till 2 o'clock in the morning every single day. And he sleeps in. And when he's not, crushing business on LinkedIn for us, he's out there playing basketball. He's very active in sports. He likes to cycle and do all these different things. And the reason I'm sharing this with you guys is because we actually have 3 VAs that are ready to go. So we've got actually a bank of about 40 VAs that have been interviewed by our Filipino manager, as well as our onshore American manager. And these VAs have been trained and vetted on helping insurance and financial advisors execute your SOPs, your standard operating procedures. So would you like to be introduced to one of these VAs that could possibly take 10, 20%, 30% of your busy work off your plate, maybe 40%? Would you guys like that? Give me a yes if you'd like that. If you'd like to be matched with a VA that could possibly be the method you get to 100 days off a year, like myself and many other advisors. I think I'm up to 175 days off a year, 200 days off a year. I've stopped counting after 150. You would. Okay. So here's what to do. So here's the thing. We don't just refer our vetted VAs out, because what we've discovered is that many advisors don't even have a system or a process implemented so that you can really work successfully. So what happens is you get this VA in, you're like, go do this stuff for me, and you don't provide any training. And so the relationship fails, and you're like, this stinks. I knew it wouldn't work because they didn't follow my instructions. Well, usually when we've dug deep and we looked at it, what's really happened is the instructions weren't clear. But we got a whole system to help you guys with that. So if that sounds interesting to you, go ahead in the Q&A. Jazz is going to drop a link. Go to our website, just fill out a form, grab a spot on our calendar, and we're just going to have a conversation with you to see if you're a good fit for our VAs. Now, there's other things that have to go with that, so that to make sure that you're the right person, because we're not our people are gold, by the way, and I protect them like a Papa Bear. So I'm not going to just give them out to everybody and say all the best, right? So as long as we're on the same page with that, right? And there's got to be a little bit of a screening process, both on your end and on our end. Go ahead and just grab a spot on our calendar and have a talk with one of our coaches, and they're going to ask you questions about your business overall, just to see if it's a good fit and where your core issues are, so that we can match you with the right concept and the right program. Okay. All right. So that's for you guys. Really excited to see who takes advantage of that. Now, brand new thing on Shift Nation. Follow Me Fridays. So I want to give a big shout out to all of you advisors who participated in the Facebook group last week. So Jasmine's going to drop a link every Friday now. Be on the lookout in the Facebook group. We're going to do what's called Follow Me Friday. And what that is, it's a way for us to support one another as insurance and financial advisors, to like and subscribe and comment on each other's social networks. So we've got some great YouTube channels you guys should be checking out. We got YouTube, LinkedIn links, Facebook personal profiles. And just imagine, with 3,000 people almost in the Facebook group, if we all help each other in there, that's going to help kind of get our subscribers up. It's going to get our followers up. And it's just a cool free way as part of Shift Nation to help each other out. So hopefully you guys take advantage of that. Don't miss out on that. That's going to be posted tomorrow. And Jasmine will make that post tomorrow as an announcement. So that'll be really fun. All right, now we've had a lot of people come and register for the Power Hour over the past month, so we want to welcome you if this is your first time. This is our way at Advisorist to be a force for good in the industry. And what we provide every single Wednesday at 12 noon Eastern is rockstar training for advisors that you normally would have paid for, but you don't have to, because we know that we want to, in order to be number one in coaching and training in the space, we got to take the lead and help to bring up the level of awareness in sales, marketing, and personal development for advisors. So who is Advisorist? Well, you've probably seen us. We've been on practically every single magazine in this industry, from Financial Advisor Magazine, Worth, CNN, Forbes. We've been on the Inc. 500, Insurance Newsnet. We've been endorsed by Tom Hegna, Ed Slott, Broadridge. We're not a lead company. We're not an FMO. But what we do is we teach, coach, and train advisors to build their own appointment engines so that you can grow a lifestyle business on your own terms. And just so you know that what we're teaching is not fluff or theory that we read in a book and said, hey, we should give this to advisors, check out some of our stats. Just every single week in our operation, we help generate over 258 appointments for advisors. That's and we get to those appointments by having about 300 conversations a day. 14,000 meetings have been booked in the last 3 years alone. We're doing 500,000 conversations with affluent prospects every single month. That's how much data we have that we build our training and our free power hours around. And just this week, we started 1,700 conversations. That's led to over $300 million in fees and commissions earned for advisors, and over 62 million leads generated from our training and the members of our team. So that's our culture of winning, and we're so glad you're here. Speaking of winning, let's talk about wins of the week. So this is one of my favorite times of the week. That's where you as an advisor get to share what are the awesome things that have happened in your week, the last 7 days. So they can be personal or they can be professional. And I'm actually seeing a lot of personal wins come through these days, especially with the summer months. Sounds like some of you are taking time to reflect. Some of you are taking time to give back. And some of you are just stepping the gas onto your business. And I love to hear that. So in the Q&A right now, go ahead. What was the win you had in the last 7 days? Was it a personal win or was it a business win? If it was a business win, go ahead and give us some specifics, right? The amount of AUM maybe you transferred over, or was it the amount of commission that you earned, or did you have a great event and you were able to get some new clients? Did you get a really good referral? Like, just celebrate those wins. And you know, with all the craziness going on in the world, actually teaching your brain to look for what's positive is one of the best hacks that you can teach. I saw a quote the other day that said, comparison is the thief of joy. Comparison is the thief of joy. So when you are comparing yourself to other people, that's never going to work. But when you can look at yourself and look for what's positive and literally focus your brain on what's going great right now, you're literally opening up the centers of creativity in your mind. Ivy League studies at Harvard found that by showing gratitude, you're actually increasing creativity. And don't we all need creativity, both in our personal life and in our professional life? So let's hop over. Ralph, who also was grateful earlier, says, I've picked up a new young CPA for his own business and his client's business. Awesome. Ralph, I know you've been working hard in our Shift Accelerator program, my man, and you are doing so well. Congratulations to that. Brian, I started the LinkedIn Shift Accelerator program Monday, and I'm working through Module 1 right now. That's great, Brian. Congratulations and welcome to the elite. Welcome to the elite. We're really excited. Can't wait to see what you come up with and what results you have. Hey, maybe we'll even be interviewing you on one of our lives very soon. Robert hit a new milestone in his assets under management on Friday. Nice one, Robert. Good for you. Congrats. Charles is working on his inner game here. I passed my first RICP class exam. No small feat. Congratulations, Charles. Good for you. Rob, he used the 9-word email to re-engage a prospect. Nice one. I love you using the application of what we teach here. Good stuff. Who else? Oh, here's another one. And on top of that, Rob's got 2 wins. The next one is he got a referral from a CPA circle of influence that's worth north of $5 million of AUM. Outstanding, Rob. So you're doing the tactics and you're building the relationships. Absolutely love it. This is wonderful. Carol says, my grandson just rolled over for the first time today, and my daughter FaceTimed me so I could see him in action. Well, that gets a double horn right there. You must be a proud grandma. All right, let's see. Pam secured a $25,000 grant from Invest in Others for a nonprofit where I volunteer teaching financial literacy to young girls. What? Pam, you are just such a rock star woman. I love you and I love what you're doing in the community. Thank you for who you are. Let's see. Jesus, I wrote 3 annuities, 1 life insurance contract, and I'm constantly hiking Piestawa Peak twice a week, a far cry from when I couldn't even make it to the top. That's nice, Jesus, man. Your heart must be thanking you every single day. Beautiful. Angela, at a $9,000 commission come through as part of my biggest client package so far. So grateful to serve. Well said. And you know what? That's exactly what we do, is we're serving others, isn't it? And I love how you put that. It's not, I'm grateful to close the deal, but I'm grateful that I served. No wonder, Angela, you're out crushing it out there, and really appreciate all your contributions in the group too. Beautiful. All right. And then I'm just going to close it out with Kevin. Passed my first CHFC exam. Yeah, baby. Love that. Okay. So those are wins of the week, guys. Really, really excited to see all of that. Let's keep the class moving for today. So something really, really cool I want to share with you. So personal story. My wife and I heard that somebody was going through, just a challenging time recovering from cancer treatments. And I've only been an observer of that. My grandmother, she passed away from cancer. And so I was, front row to seeing how that worked out. And it was kind of interesting. The day my grandmother passed, I went up the street to a restaurant and I just grabbed every single kind of comfort food that I could find. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but French Canadians make the best breakfasts in the universe. I'm just putting it out there. You guys can challenge me on that, and I'll meet you at any sugar shack in Quebec between the months of April and June, and we're going to have it out. Okay. Because even Americans like to drive to Canada for our breakfasts. So I'm talking, carb loading to the max. Okay. Can't have it every day. But I went up to a restaurant and I was like, all right, give me the most carbiest comfort food that I could find. And I just bought like a whole bunch of breakfast for my uncle, mom, dad, my wife, everybody that was there. We got together, we cried, we prayed, and we ate. And you know what? Eating just made us feel really good. Just eating something comforting that we chose, that was close to our heart, that had good memories. I can remember going to the Sugar Shack, or we call it Cabane à Sucre in Quebec, with my grandmother. And she, born and raised as a French Canadian woman, in a lumberjack, hardy world, maple syrup, beans, everything. I just brought back those wonderful memories of enjoying meals with her. And so what we did is we sent it. So I say all that to say that we were trying to think, what's a good gift to give to somebody, who's going through a hard time. I'm not telling you guys this works all the time, just saying what we did. Well, how about comfort food? Comfort food. And so we have this website, and you guys I've given away lots of gift cards to Goldbelly, actually on the Power Hour. And actually, I want to do it today too. So if you guys go to the Facebook group right now and you kind of shake up the group and put a post in there and say, hey guys, Eve is about to come on. Let's get ready. Let's get excited. Do your memes, do your videos, whatever it is in the Facebook group. I'm going to give a $100 Goldbelly gift card of comfort food to one of you guys. So head over to the Facebook group right now. Jazz put the link in there, and then take the next 30 minutes or so, put something awesome in there. And the best one, we're going to send a Goldbelly gift card. But we sent the gift card to her, and she wrote back such a beautiful letter to us. We were actually really touched. We didn't expect that. We're just trying to do our part. We're just small, insignificant pieces of dust on this amazing earth, and we're just trying to do something nice. Well, I want to give that to you guys as kind of a treat. So check this out. I want to show you what you can actually do with this website. And it's going to help bring attention to a lot of small business owners who need it right now. Because now it's not just this big conglomerate website where you're buying it from a factory, but these are restaurants, small individual restaurants all over the United States. And by that, I don't make anything from recommending this. I just think it's brilliant. They have features on Black food makers. They've got different regions of the United States you can buy food from. You can buy food from chefs. And just take a look at this stuff, steaks, sausages, bagels, sandwiches. How about honey fried chicken, cookies, 4th of July food. Look at this kind of, are you guys getting hungry yet? You could order a Gramercy Tavern Burger 4-pack, for somebody, and just give them a really nice break and give them some comfort food. So I wanted to just bring awareness to Goldbelly because I really love their thesis and what they're doing to bring new business to restaurateurs all around the country who have been affected, not just because of the shutdowns and stuff, but just who need our support, right? So hopefully you guys will consider that, and would love to see you guys put your comments in the Facebook group on shaking it up, because we're about to get started. So with that said, I think that's all the cool tips and tricks we had. Oh, no, I got one more gift. You know us, I got one more gift. You guys are just insatiable when it comes to wanting tips and tricks. And I love that about you guys. It's so cool. So here's our next gift for you, Shift Nation. Every week we give away an awesome PDF for Shift Nation to help you guys be more successful. We've got sales rebuttals coming up, guys. If you would like our PDF of sales rebuttals that you can use, we've got a spanking new one ready to go in the chat right now. But I'm going to something different this week, something different. Okay. In the chat right now, you want to go to this LinkedIn post, and I'm using a different feature of screen share, so I got to actually reshare this, but I want you to do something different. So here's what happened, right? Last week we did this post, and what happened is a lot of you commented below that you wanted the PDF, but then when our team reached out to you, you didn't accept the connection, and so we can't give it to you. So what's the point, right? So I'm going to give you guys, if you guys want this information even faster, here's what you're going to do. You're going to go to, and what did we put on the screen there, Jazz? What is the word? Oh, PDF. Okay. So you're going to go to this post right now. Go there right now, Shift Nation. I'm going to hit refresh. You're going to come over here and you're going to do PDF. Good for you, William. You're already on top of the game. So you're going to comment PDF, but if you want it faster, put your email address in here. Just type it in, and then we'll email it to you, and it'll just be a faster way to get it, because some of you are not accepting our connection requests. If you don't want to post your email, you can do the second thing, is when Marcel puts a reply, okay? When Marcel puts a reply, ask him to connect, because he's got hundreds of people he's trying to connect with, and it'll be faster if you just click on Marcel's link and then say, hey, send me the PDF. I also wrote PDF, all right? So make sure you guys do that. I know it's a little confusing. You could just write PDF, but you're probably gonna wait, because it seems like some of you are not checking LinkedIn. Shame on you, right? You could be making millions off of LinkedIn, but you're not. So maybe this is the way to help you guys do that, all right? So make sure you do that. I'm just gonna hit refresh, see how many of our amazing members of Shift Nation. Yes, 44 of you already. Let's see who was listening. Yeah, Jesus was listening. Mark was listening. He put his email. And if you already put PDF and you forgot, just go back to your post and just write your email. That's it. Okay. Or if you just want to chill right there, Marcel's going to come behind you, and then just go to connect with him. Okay, guys, that's our gift for you guys. Hopefully those sales rebuttal scripts make a big difference for you over the next 7 days, maybe even the next 7 months, as you practice using them in your practice. All right. Well, we are ready to get to the main event today. So I want to invite everybody to put their hands together for our resident organizational psychologist, Eve Duke. Eve, welcome to our Power Hour. Can you hear us? Can you hear us sharing the love?
Yes. Oh, there's so many advisors crushing it. And I love that food service link that you shared. I'm going to use that this week.
Awesome. Yeah, it's really, it's made a big difference for some folks, and I'm grateful to share it. So what are we talking about this week, Eve? And maybe it'd probably be good to do a little recap as well. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So recap, I think we've got a recap slide here.
Here you go.
Topic. Whew, I need this because we've covered so much in 4 power hours. So we started with, it's like our take home. It's all about the other person. If you want to connect with people, they want to work with you, you want them to like you, love you, remember you, refer you, just give them love, care about them, listen to them. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. If you remember absolutely nothing out of any of these, it's just remember to care and show love to the other person, set your ego aside and focus on them. That's like my biggest take home bullet point. If we can sum everything down to that, we talked about, so that was a big part of number 1. We also talked about number 1 and 2. We also talked about the chameleon advisor. So the 4 different personality styles, PSIU, PS I love you. From organizational physics, we had the producer, the stabilizer, the innovator, the unifier. That was awesome. We had our fantastic advisors on last week and discussed how their different styles affected their practice and affected their customers and their relationships. That was a fantastic one. If anybody wants to know a little bit more about themselves, how they operate and how others operate, because understanding other people is kind of one of the biggest part of communicating with them, so that we can cater our communication, cater our scripts, cater our dialogue, and even our service to the people who we want to attract. How's that for a summary?
Yeah, it's so funny. Just like hearing everything being recapped, it's like, oh my goodness, it's still the tip of the iceberg. And I know that, before we hopped on live, we were chit-chatting in the green room of Zoom, and you were talking about, so you do a session every Monday at 12 Eastern for all members of Advisorist Max, which is our private member only program that provides coaching every single day of the week, from mindset to sales to scaling your practice to copywriting. And you said you had a pretty impactful Monday. I'm wondering if you could just share with us what made Monday so special, because I think it's a nice tie-in to what we're going to cover today.
It really is. Yeah, these Mindset Mondays, I am just loving them because it's turning into such a fantastic community, and I'm getting so much out of them, and I think the other advisors are getting a lot out of them. But this one was on, and this is another deep one. So I started off the Mindset Mondays with some, introductory mindset stuff, but then we dug pretty deep pretty quickly on advanced techniques. So we did emotional brilliance, which I think if you've heard of emotional intelligence, this takes emotional intelligence one huge layer deeper. And it's really diving into, okay, what are core emotions versus feelings? And then how do we recognize the emotions that we're having? We might feel a full swath of emotions and feelings like a buffet, but we've got, okay, choose one. Don't take and let them all consume you. And how do we choose one, deal with that emotion, maybe a base or a primary emotion, and dealing with that? Is that helping us? Is that serving us? Or is that hindering us? Is that emotion, how it's showing up and how we're communicating maybe our frustration or our anger or our fear? Is that making the situation worse? Or is there a more effective way that we can communicate that emotion to be able to get across what we're trying to get across? Yeah, so that was a really powerful one. It was big. Yeah.
Wow. So let's dive in, Eve. Well, we've got a lot to cover today. Did you prepare some slides, or are we just going to be going back and forth today?
I've got my slides.
Awesome. And by the way, guys, don't forget, I'm starting to see some pretty cool memes showing up in the Facebook group. Go in there, let everybody know we're about to start. Shake it up, guys, shake it up. Go there, post a GIF, a meme, a quote, some really nice comments coming out for Eve. All right, so who's going to get that Gold Belly gift card?
Okay, so we've got, everybody can see my screen. Got our power hour screen here. Okay, so this is my intro. How to connect with others, part 4. This is the final part of the series. I could probably do 50 of these, but we've taken so much in the past 3 sessions. This is now our final step on diving in. And this is another huge takeaway. So we had the listening, how important it is to connect with others. Now we must first know and understand ourselves. That's a lot of what this is about. Also relating to that emotional brilliance, understanding our emotions and what comes up, and managing that, most importantly. This is high level success leadership 101. This is what the masters do. Everybody who's at the top of their game, at the top of their organization, this dives into the number one, I would say that definitely the number one thing that has made people who are elevated be able to stay there and manage others. It's understanding ourselves. And that's why a lot of what I talk about and a lot of what I work on is, how do we understand ourselves? How do we deal with our inner dialogue, the story that we tell ourselves, understanding our personality styles, because it really does come first. Okay, so today we're talking about the outside observer is what I've called it. And some of what the theme comes from, if anybody's read or heard of the book, The Untethered Soul, that's a lot of what this comes from. So what it is picture yourself, all right? You're in a situation and now step outside of yourself. And I think we've worked on this, or I've introduced this concept to you, Jeremiah, is you're a master in self-management and also seeing and understanding and communicating with others. So, okay, if you're in an interaction, what we're trying to do here is stepping outside of ourselves, outside of the interaction, and not only watching the other person, but also watching ourselves. Okay, so you are the outside observer to yourself, to your thoughts, to your emotions, really watching in the moment, hey, what's coming up here? All right. So taking note of what you see, what you hear, feel, and think. And what I talked about, this came up on the Mindset Monday, is did you know that 95% of the time we are running on autopilot? So 5% of the time, on average, and in the average person. So 5% of the time, we are actively managing ourselves, managing our emotions, and managing the situation and the communication. No wonder there is so much miscommunication and conflict in the world and with each other. If we're running on autopilot, what is our autopilot doing? And this is about taking yourself out of autopilot and managing what happens there. Right? So stage one, I would say, is okay, now we know that we have these emotions. We have time to reflect and think about them. What comes up? What are our automatic reactions? What are our triggers? So how do we evaluate those, evaluating our triggers, and adjust those that aren't helping us?
So maybe I could give an example here from my own personal experience. So this is, you and I worked on this last year, beginning of the year. And I remember there was a really frustrating part of our operations that I just could not break through. And it was like every time I was showing to a meeting, I instantly was going into a pattern of frustration because I wasn't experiencing a breakthrough in that one part of our ops that the other company, that the rest of the divisions were having. So I was showing up pretty frustrated. And guys, I'm going to give this to you as an example, but for you, it might be working with compliance. Maybe it's that one client that just really gets on your nerves. Maybe it's somebody in your family. Maybe it's somebody you're forced to deal with, but you don't want to. So just replace that. I'm going to tell you my story. So I remember, you and I having this call and we were talking about it and you were like, okay, so how are you showing up to those calls? And I'm like, wow, it's always frustrating and this is not working out and whatever. And then you gave me this framework of stepping outside myself and just watching the meeting happen instead of me being in the meeting. And I got to tell you, like, I sat up straight, I leaned back a bit, my face was more relaxed, my jaw wasn't tight, and I just was like more, and actually the feeling that got replaced was curiosity.
Yeah, that's what we want. Yeah.
Yeah. So I got curious about the problem, and I'll tell you, 1 year later, that team is one of the highest performing teams. And it started with the way that I showed up. And it's not because I'm great. I'm not. I'm still learning, but it's because this process is great. And by being in a place where I can show up and be more curious as opposed to frustrated, it just tapped into so many other possibilities to get things accomplished. And so I'm really grateful to you, Eve, for having brought that tool. And that's what these are, folks. These are tools, Shift Nation. These are tools in a tool belt. You've got your tools of products, right? Annuities, IULs, life insurance, CLATs, all these different cool things. But how much more powerful is it to have something in your tool belt that allows you to be the most powerful when you show up for every single person? That is what Shift Nation is all about. We're not just about helping you guys sell more, but just be better human beings, right? And you're going to enjoy life more. I just wanted to share that little story.
Yeah. And you said something interesting there. It was, okay, and this is something to pay attention to, where does that emotion hit you? Does it hit you? You feel it in your chest, you tightening up. You feel it in your throat. You clench your fist. So even just releasing, allowing yourself to release that. I think I talked on Mindset Monday about the Special Forces uses box breathing, and it's 4 counts out, 4 counts in, hold for 4, out for 4. So it's taking a split second to interrupt our autopilot. And the more we can prepare and go into, especially if it's a really important communication or even just like a client intro, you know, how are we showing up? What are our judgments that we are bringing to that interaction or that meeting? And how do we let go of those so that we don't put those judgments into our communication, in our body language, in our facial expression, in our tone? Our tone can be just so, you can say all the right things, and if you have the wrong tone, you are messing up. How awful is that? That's so terrible. Yeah. So, and one thing I talk about, which was really powerful for me when I learned this, is that, and when I accepted this, is that our feelings and our emotions aren't real. And I'll say that again. Your feelings and emotions aren't real. They are an interpretation. It's our brain, it's our inner dialogue, it's our experiences, our history, our values, making sense of the situation, of the stimulus. At its most basic level, there's a stimulus that comes in, and there's an emotion that happens, we tie a feeling to that, we react. But it's not real. And the way that we know that it's not real is that, Jeremiah, you and I could be in the exact same situation, have the same thing happen to us, and have a completely different reaction and a completely different emotion, because it's tied to us. So what that means is that we have the power to change that.
Yeah, we're not victim. We don't need to be victims of our emotion, although our society, and this is important to understand, is I always look to the reason why things are the way they are, right? That's just me as a person. I'm not satisfied with surface level thinking. I always want to know the reasons behind things. And think about who is lauded, applauded, celebrated, loved in our world today. It's people who give in to emotion.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest stars or influencers are highly emotional, or they're great at stirring emotion, which is a whole other discussion into marketing and psychology, which we'll keep for the future power hours. But we are in a construct that rewards emotional behavior.
Yeah.
And that's why what we're talking about is so hard, because you're fighting against the flow. And if you're here today on the Power Hour, I already know that you are somebody who's driven to go against the crowd, because the rest of the advisor community is stuck doing business in 2005, some of them 1985. We're doing business in 2021. We're talking about things like, I'll give you guys an example. I'm sorry, I'm going on a tangent here, but then I'll get off my soapbox. Yesterday, there was a lot of noise. 2 articles came out about the SEC ruling on allowing testimonials for advisors. Yeah. And there's a big hubbub. Guys, that came out 7 months ago. 8 hours after the SEC testimonial ruling was made, we had a course created and we gave it away for free on the Power Hour on how to get testimonials and how to use them. Like, that's how advanced the stuff is that we're doing. Just to give you guys, so when I saw that, I chuckled. I'm like, yeah, nice for catching up, X magazine. I'm not going to say the name of the magazine, but I'm like, guys, so what you guys are learning here is like the cutting edge stuff. And yes, it's hard, but man, is it so worth it?
Yeah. Why? And that's the thing, is why would you expect it to be easier? Like being at the top and being great is not easy. It's so much work. It is. It's so much work. It's a lifetime of continual, slow, gradual progress. That's big. Okay, so I'm going to talk about in relation to this. So here are 5 ways that we can show up. And so to pay attention to how we're showing up. All right, are we showing up as the jackal? Are we attacking? Are we judging? All right. The jackal's internal dialogue is often, I'm right. How do I be right? And I think a good thing to ask yourself in that situation is, does it matter? Does it really matter for you to be right? Do you want to build a relationship, or do you want to be right? And sometimes, of course, it matters, but that's really something to ask yourself. Is your ego managing the situation on its autopilot? And that's a really big part of this outside observer, of stepping outside of the situation and being able to control what is showing up. Is judgment showing up? Are we bringing that in? And can we replace that with curiosity? You want me to go to the next one? Anything?
Yeah, let's just ask, we're getting some really cool comments here. Who identifies as a jackal? Who's identifying as a jackal, everyone? Just put the word jackal in there if you've identified as a jackal. And it's okay, well, I'm not going to out you. It's just, hey, if you know how you show up, now you can remedy yourself, right? So it's actually great if you have the honesty and the humility to acknowledge it, then you can actually, move forward. I want to read this one comment. But by the way, Angela's like, Eve rocks. We love her on Mondays. Guillermo's like, follow the success criteria. Russ is saying this is powerful. Let's see. Kathy's like, by the way, I love this training. She's saying a story of, she says, Eve, can you train all the angry people out there that are offended by everything? She sent a 4th of July holiday card, and one person said, this is false advertising. And the person cannot be on her mailing list anymore. So she told her, just hit the opt-out button, and she wouldn't receive any messages. And she says, I'm just sorry you were offended by this holiday message. So it's just kind of interesting to talk about how people are driven by emotion. Like maybe that person shows up as a jackal in their daily life, like, that's false advertising. I'm right. That's bad. Right?
Exactly. Yeah. Like, how much did that advance that person? None. Like it's like you're sending yourself back if that's how you're going to respond to the world, to input. Yeah. And this isn't all the time. And the thing is back to what we were saying, it's not real. This isn't you. This isn't who you are. If you respond this way, it's not that you're a jackal and you're an attacker and a judger. It just means you are judging. You are attacking. It has nothing to do with who you are and who you can be and who your best self is, because you show up differently in so many different situations. And I know it's like you guys show up where you're on, you show up where you're generous, you show up where you're kind, happy, sad. I've showed up as a jackal before, definitely. Yeah. So that's the thing, is it's not you. We can't attach ourselves to these emotions. And it's looking, okay, is there a time when that will serve us? Maybe. There might be. Or is there a time when it is not serving us? And that's the only thing that really matters here. Is it helpful or not? Is it advancing you or is it holding you back? If it's holding you back, why keep doing it? Yeah. There was one of our advisors, Kim, had a really fantastic, because we didn't talk about these 5, but we talked about something similar in the emotional management and frustration and anger. And I wrote it down because I loved this quote and I put it in our Facebook, but it was, you guys see that, or is it backwards? Might be backwards.
No, that looks perfect. Yeah.
It says, I can be angry next time. And when he finds himself in a situation where he is frustrated and getting angry and getting worked up, he tells himself, he stops his brain and he says, I can be angry next time. And he is changing his internal dialogue from, I'm right, I need to win, I'm going to attack somebody, and I'm going to win the situation too. I can be angry next time. And I found that, I think that is something, that is a tool that he's used a technique that he's used. And how powerful is that in the situation, in the moment? You're stopping your brain, you're giving it a new dialogue, a new story. And the story is, I'm not angry right now. And you know what happens? His brain listens. It releases a different chemical, and he shows up and he responds and he communicates differently. That's reframing. But I kind of stuck on the jackal for a little bit here because it shows up in all of us, and it's so powerful because it really, really shuts things down instead of moves things forward. And then kind
so
of on the
almost if like,
yeah.
oh, sorry. So just like the takeaway I'm getting from this is, if I want to stop creativity, if I want to stop progress, if I want to stop profitability, show up as a jackal.
Yeah. Yeah. If you want to stop communication and turn it into this, just like you might as well be talking to a wall.
Yeah.
You know, you can tamp all of that down by showing up as the jackal. If you find yourself attacking, and that's one of the first stages, right, of managing our emotions, is just recognizing where it shows up and when it's showing up, and just pausing for a second. Do I need to be right here? Will I truly, truly get a win if I'm right? Or can I suck it up, take my ego, chuck it out the window, and we show up as something else? Okay, so here's the hedgehog. Now the hedgehog is more of a retreater. We start judging ourselves. Maybe I'm wrong. I can't do this. I'm not going to be great. I'm not going to win. It's the vulnerability, but vulnerability in a way that hurts us. You know, oh, what did I? Okay, I'm no good here. I might as well just pack my things and leave. You know, he's not responding to me. I'm just gonna close up. So are we showing up as that hedgehog, powerless? And then we have the meerkat. And the interesting thing about the meerkat is they can stand up and they'll just observe for an extended period of time. So this is the pause. You're pausing, you're reflecting, and you have a choice of how you move forward. Do I take the red pill or the blue pill? And in that moment, are we showing up? How do we choose to move forward? We have the dolphin. Now we're getting into, you see where the kind of the end of the spectrum that we want to be on. We have the dolphin. We're self-aware, curious, assertive, but not aggressive. So that with the hedgehog, we probably aren't going to get a positive outcome for ourselves, right? If we're submitting, we're giving away all of our power, right? That's not a win either, no more than the jackal is. So how do we be assertive, but positively assertive without being aggressive? And then we have the giraffe, with I think one of the biggest hearts in the world. They're a connector. You can connect. How do you connect? How do you show up with empathy, understanding? You listen. And showing up with generosity and kindness, right? Okay, I'm not judging myself. It's just a situation. So how do we just take the facts? And this is one of the best tools with managing our emotions, is saying, is this a fact? Or is this something that I am telling myself? Am I making this up? Did I make it up? I'm just looking over some of the Q&A. There's so much coming in here. The jackal. I ran over my jackal a few years ago. I love that. Yeah. When we show up, and we're going to show up, we might show up as all five of these in different situations, right?
Yeah. Michael loved your meerkat impression, by the way. Yeah, this is Mary loves that expression too. I can be angry next time. And then Catherine is just going off in the chat here. Oh my goodness. She's like, this is great training for me. As a woman of a certain age, let's just say I get frustrated. My husband says I have anger issues. Haha, but this is great advice, a great tool. I'm going to give it a try when I get frustrated at the insurance companies or that difficult client.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's so much to like digest from this.
Yeah.
I'll let you handle some of this Q&A because Angela just put up a good point. She says, why don't we do a poll on this? So I'm gonna create a poll right now. It's gonna take me about a minute. So if you want to go through the questions and go through that or elaborate, Eve, that'd be great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we're doing the poll. So we've got Lorna says, I'm a dull giraffe cat. Yeah, so this is it. We talked about this on Mindset Monday as well, is what is our base emotion, or 4 base emotions: happy, sad, fear, anger, that a lot of our feelings come out of. So frustration often comes out of anger. So we can dive into that of where that comes from. And then says, George, does stress cause us to revert to jackal mode? For many, yes. Yeah, it would. It's this, there's a lot of, and I hear this from a lot of advisors and a lot of people, and this is that back to that kind of jackal, that anger, how anger shows up with us, and stress, frustration. And is this maybe coming from a place of fear where we feel threatened? And that is so fundamental to being a human being, is that at a very basic level, our brain is trying to interpret, is this a threat to our survival, or is this helpful? Is this going to advance me, or is it going to hold us back? And that's really where it comes from. Even at that give and take, your brain's just trying to understand, do I need to run away? Do I need to attack?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got it ready. You want me to launch it?
Yeah. Launch the poll.
All right, here we go, guys. The poll is now launched. It's completely anonymous, so we're not going to call you guys out for whatever you're showing up as. So, all right. So which animal do you most show up as? And be honest, right? We're not doing this for bounty points. It's like, where do you kind of show up? So are you with the jackal? Click on jackal. The hedgehog, the meerkat, the dolphin, where you're self-aware and curious, the giraffe, where you're more of a connector, very empathetic, understanding, listening. Oh, we got a huge amount of votes. This is awesome. All right, I'm gonna close it out here in about 20 seconds. You want to take a stab, Eve, on where you think most people are in Shift Nation? What would you say?
I would have guessed jackal, just because I find that's one that shows up, but probably not a lot. So yeah, I would guess dolphin, maybe, that self-awareness, because we also have so many people, like, I can't believe how many people you have in Shift Nation, and that's how many people that we're impacting that are curious and have an open and a growth mindset. Yeah, so I'm gonna give everybody the credit here of showing up and advancing themselves every week. Yeah, I think we've got dolphins and giraffes in the house.
Wow. Okay, here we go. The #1 category is dolphins in the Shift Nation, and giraffe are the close second. Wow, awesome. You were spot on. Yes.
It doesn't surprise me because we have so many fantastic leadership, growth-oriented people in Shift Nation. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I was with you on I thought that most people, like, we got a lot of jackal-based comments, but I think it came from people who were aware that they were jackals and were like, eh. Yeah, that was me a long time ago. Somebody said they ran over their jackal a while back. And then they've evolved into, the dolphin or the giraffe mindset, which is outstanding, Shift Nation. Good for you guys. Personal growth is the hardest thing to do, and you guys are just crushing it. And that reminds me is, I listen to the calls that our coaches have with advisors every day. Every day we're talking to maybe 10 to 20 advisors on the phone. And, I like to listen to see, what's the mindset. And every now and then you get a jackal who just, you could tell they live in the jackal world. Like that's just them. And it's so funny because our coaches are like so in tune. They're like, whoopsies, we can't help this person. Not right now. Let's get them on the power hour. Let's help them see what we're about. And if they're part of this tribe, great. If they're not, also great. There's lots of tribes that are different that, there's the tribe that, bashes people. There's a tribe that is dissatisfied with everything going on. There's a tribe that hates everything. There's a tribe that is frustrated about nothing working out and they just like to jaw about it. And then there's this tribe, which is how can we help each other? We're self-aware. We're crushing it, but we want to get better. And we know there's more than enough business for everybody. So let's just step out and help,
Yeah. It's been proven that when we're in that jackal mode, that attack mode, that anger cloud mode, our IQ is actually diminished in that moment. We are not operating at an intelligence level. Therefore, we should not be making decisions in that headspace. If we're in rage, we're in attack mode, you're not in problem solving mode, you're not in creativity mode, you're not in connection and understanding mode. Your ego is taking over. There's a really fantastic book by Ryan Holiday called The Ego is the Enemy. It's a relatively short read, but that's a good one that I recommend everybody because so much of issues and communication problems that we have is related to our ego. And how do we manage that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Eve, we got to give a prize today. Speaking of gratitude and giving back, there's some pretty cool members of Shift Nation that have contributed in the Facebook group. Angela's saying the open growth mindset is what I love about Shift Nation. That is rare in today's world, but the people bringing light and making a difference live in that place. Well said. Can I get a t-shirt with that, Angela? That's awesome. I'm going to screenshot that. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. Awesome. All right, let's hop over. Or you want to close out with something, Eve?
This is our closeout for this whole the whole series, is that stepping into somebody else's shoes, understanding them is a great act of generosity.
So. That's well said. Well said. Okay, so Eve, I'm gonna share you got this. Yes. That's it. I'm gonna share my screen, and Eve, you're gonna choose our winner today. Okay.
Ooh.
So I'm in the Facebook group. If you guys are not there, go ahead and join in. Just find us Advisorist there. Would love to have you in there. Okay. So first, I just want to give a big shout out to our main man, Dan Leonard. We bought him a pair of shoes because he was so generous to be on the live with us. If you guys haven't heard Dan's story and how he's meeting with like a whole bunch of Fortune, 500 company employees every single week, check it out on YouTube. And we sent him, this guy's an avid runner. He likes to run with the cows. So glad you got the shoes, Dan. We appreciate you, buddy. So down here, I'm going to show you a couple. So Kurt posted this, Duke, the Duke of Advisor Psychology, dropping big ideas to help with mindset.
I love this. Yeah.
Check out this one that Esther dropped in. She goes, sliding into the power hour right when Eve comes on. She's about to drop some fire nuggets. Bam!
Oh, this is amazing. I think that might be it. Are we allowed to go there?
Well, let's at least acknowledge some of the other ones. Look, this is Pam shaking it up at the power hour. Love it. Emotions for the power hour. Love it. Carolyn's chiming in on Pam's. Pam's actually got a lot of love right here. We got Kevin's come on in and support Eve. Are you not entertained? Classic from Gladiator. Bringing out the movie references, buddy. Let's see if we got, here's another one from Angela. Eve lights up our lives. Come on right now, $1 Million Nuggets. Baby, you light up my world like nobody else.
Right after my heart with the baby.
Oh, yeah.
Your mindset. Yes. Yes.
Well said. There's yours. There's Kurt. Learn to live like a boss. Awesome. So, and I think, oh, here's one, Carrie, me trying to decide between Facebook, LinkedIn, or Zoom for the pound. Awesome. Carrie's always got some custom meme that she did. All right. So that was it, Eve. So who's your choice? Who's going to get the gift card today?
Let's go with the slide. These are
This
all
one?
so good. I love
Nice.
memes. Yeah.
I got to see that one more time. Bam. that girl could not say no to that guy. All right, Esther.
Thanks
Now,
so much, guys.
Yeah, Esther, you're the winner. So if you could just send an email to jazz@advisorist.com, just like the music, that's Jasmine's email, because she's just like Jazz. She's always freestyling it. JAZZ. Send us your address, your email. Just send us your email. Actually, just put it in the chat, because we're going to send you an e-gift card to Goldbelly. This way you can like get it within the hour and start ordering comfort food, or you can give it to somebody else, whatever you wish. All right, Eve, final words.
Coming here. So guys, post these in we won't be able to answer them now, we're over time, but if you post them in that Facebook, I'll get to them. Yeah, I'd love to answer these. How do others view us? How do others see us if asked? What would they see us? How does it intersect with PSIU? Yeah, if you guys, Mike, Jim, Mark, is gonna post these in the Facebook, I'd be glad to answer them there.
Awesome. Eve, once again, thank you so much for always bringing the fire, bringing the knowledge. Appreciate you. Shift Nation, we love you guys. Hang in there. Keeping the best version of yourself. Let's go Dolphins, Giraffes all week. All right, Dolphins and Giraffes all week. Serve others. All right, guys, we appreciate you guys. Have a great rest of the week. We'll see you next Wednesday on the Virtual Advisor Power Hour. Bye.